following program is rated TV PG. Some scenes may be too scary for children under 7. We suggest watching together as a family.
I Saw the TV Glow is a 2024 horror drama film written and directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. It stars Justice Smith, Phoebe Bridgers, Fred Durst, Bridget Lundy Payne, among others. It was one of my most anticipated films of 2024, especially with it not only being A24, but also an homage to children's horror, David Lynch, and how it feels to know that there is a part of you that is lost, but you just can't quite place it, or are too scared to confront it, or just become convinced it's not possible for that part of yourself to exist. And so, without further ado, submitted for the approval of the Jane Schoenbrunn Society, I call this story The Tale of the TV Glow Review. The premise of this film revolves around a character named Owen, played by Justice Smith, a lonely youth who meets a girl named Maddie, played by Payne. Now, there is a TV show that has gotten Owen's attention called The Pink Opaque, a Goosebumps-esque show about two teens who share a special psychic connection and team up to battle evil supernatural forces in their town. Unfortunately for Owen, he isn't allowed to watch it given how late it comes on, so Maddie hatches a plan for him, to sneak off to her place and watch it. And when he finally does, shortly after it becomes his favorite show. In fact, the show is so good that Owen ends up watching the episodes over and over, like how I did with Haunting Hour growing up. But eventually, the show abruptly gets canned, and Maddie mysteriously vanishes. And it may have something to do with the show, as Owen discovers there might not be more not only to himself, but his memory of how he remembered things, and that The Pink Opaque may be more than just a TV show. Now, this premise might not be too scary. In fact, I think Jane Schoenbrunn said that they didn't intend to scare with this movie. In fact, as the story unfolds, you realize this is a story more about yearning for the days we feel nostalgic for. Not only that, but also for discovering who we truly are and the facades we are forced to wear when we haven't. This is about as scary as it gets, which admittedly did make me feel an overwhelming sense of distance. You see, for the longest time, I felt like something was lost inside of me. I didn't know what it was, but I just knew that I had some slight indifference to how I was born that eventually grew into disdain. Part of me, would wonder, what it would be like, if I had been born feminine because of how much disdain I had for the way I was born. But obviously I would shove those feelings down, but eventually they would became straight up, disdain for my gender, as I said, and I just started to wish that I was born a woman, but more on that later. It wasn't until maybe middle school when I started to realize maybe I should have been born a different way, and I knew who I was truly meant to be, but it was part of myself I would still deny, since I didn't know how to confront it. But yet that longing to be was there, would still remain there, since a part of me knew I was, truly meant to be that way, and never meant to be born in, the way that I was. But it seemed ridiculous, so I thought I would be stuck this way forever, which is scary to think about, not being able to fully become, the idea that it might be too late, there is still time. And that is what this premise tackled, because at some point Owen does claim that it feels like a part of himself was torn out, which proves to be a lot more essential not only to the plot, but Owen's character as the story goes on. And this premise also delves into the idea of nostalgia, not only how we strive to relive our younger days, but also how a lot of things we enjoyed as kids might not be around anymore, or might not have the same impact now that we are older. And I can more than relate to this, given that there were some episodes of R.L. Stine's The Haunting Hour and Are You Afraid of the Dark I liked growing up, but now that I'm older, I realize that some of the episodes could be better, a lot better. And when you finally learn why the show is so essential to the plot, even if you can't identify what Owen is going through, the movie still makes you feel the isolation and complexities that he went through simply due to the fact that he has spent so long trying to figure himself out, which makes you hope he truly does before it's too late. I give premise an A+. Like I said, not too scary, but the great sense of longing and the overall message about how it feels to be different more than made up for it. Next is acting. Acting in this film was a lot better than expected. Owen and Maddie are two lonely teens living in the suburbs who know that things need to change. And you get the sense that things need to be different due to the fact that their actor and actress has a sort of emptiness in them. You can tell that there is something that they are trying to achieve, something that they might have been told is impossible, which part of them still probably believes otherwise, and shoves it all down due to how often they were told it cannot happen. But yet that longing was still there. You could tell that Maddie and Owen, especially Owen, knew that there is something to themselves but are just not sure how to fully confront it. Yet Lundy Payne captures how it feels to yearn for things to be better, and feeling like that chance will go away if you take too long to do so. I give acting an A+. I think that's because a part of me has always known that there was something about me, yet I didn't know what it was. But like I said, I always had an indifference toward how I was born and knew that maybe I wasn't meant to be this way, but would bottle up since I became convinced there was nothing I could do to change myself, but the feeling that I was meant to be a certain way kept coming back. And like I said, sometimes I would wonder to myself what it was like to be, feminine, but at the time I didn't know that that's what I truly wanted to be. It wasn't until way later down the line when I realized I would be much happier as a woman, which Smith and Lundy captured so well in this movie. And Justice Smith's performance during the final act blew me away. I was literally almost in tears simply because of how raw his performance truly was in those moments. Next is special effects, which I think the strongest came from the costume designs. Like, the costume designs for some of the creatures on that TV show they watch is fucking amazing. Especially with what they did with Mr. Melancholy. Like, the way his face just morphs and turns, and the designs of his henchmen. And the design for some of these creatures may seem silly to some, but I can't help but be impressed with it since I can just tell the makeup team put their all into it. And it is more than obvious given how the monster designs came out. I give special effects an A. The designs of some of the villains for that TV show were honestly really cool. Before we discuss cinematography, let's take a quick commercial break.
We'll be right back after these messages.
My electric bill was breaking the bank. So to save some money, I trained this team of guinea pigs to row this tiny boat. They generate electricity, which lets me surf the web all day. Took me 6 months to train each one. 8 months to get the little chubby one to yell row. It was kind of strange. Such a simple word. Row.
There's an easier way to save. Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
There's no stopping the fun.
Life's a ball with the Elefun Busy Ball Popper from Play School. It's non-stop popping, ball dropping fun.
There's no stopping the fun.
Elefun Busy Ball Popper. P.S. It's Play School.
Stay away from me.
Corey, something's not right here.
Emma!
He's got her.
This is all your fault.
The Haunting Hour. All new Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. Only on The Hub.
Coming to The Hub.
Guys, up there!
6 kids.
Go!
On a quest.
Game on.
The Hub presents an original 5-part miniseries event. Clue, a world television premiere. Monday, November 14th. Only on The Hub. On the next Majors and Minors, Colby Calais is in the house. Getting the group amped for an awesome performance. 12 kids, 1 winner. Who will it be? All new Majors and Minors, Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Only on The Hub. Sunday on The Hub. These are the stars.
After you turn a dream into reality, keep that reality alive.
This is the talent.
You're our next generation of superstars.
You guys sounded amazing.
It's not about how good you are, but how good you are to work with.
And one of these kids
I want this so bad.
will win a recording contract.
This is all I want to do.
12 kids, 1 winner. Who will it be? All new Majors and Minors, Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Only on The Hub.
miss R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour. All new Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. Only on The Hub.
How mysterioso is that?
And now, back to our show on The Hub.
Now, where were we? Oh yeah, cinematography. Cinematography was just so stunning. There are so many shots in this movie that I could simply just stare at all day simply because of how visually appealing they truly are. Like the image seen in the video. Such a mysterious aura you might feel from it. But yeah, part of the reason it is so beautiful is because of all that. Because of how the bright purple smoke seems to go together with the dark. And that is just one of the many stunning shots that you will see in this movie. I give cinematography an A+. So appealing to look at. Such vibrance it exhibits. Finally directing. Jane Schoenbrunn has created a movie that is for not just anyone who has yet to find out who they truly are, but also for anyone who grew up with children's horror. There is a lot of nostalgia I have towards that kind of thing given that I grew up with it, and I feel like that the approach they took with all of that was the best approach for them to go for. A more dreamlike Lynchian vibe, because the days we sometimes wish we could go back to are already done. They happened, and we can't go back. Now all we have is our memories, and we try to remember everything to truly capture the feel of it all, but can't quite remember it all. And down the line you might start to forget more and more, kind of like our dreams. We try to remember them, but we might not remember everything 100%, which is part of the reason why I wanted to see this movie. I have always been interested in movies that take a surreal and dreamlike approach simply because they do not follow the rules of mainstream movies. So I always like when filmmakers take that unique angle. And if you're worried that it might cause the film to be too confusing to watch, don't worry too much, because the overall story, while wonderfully strange and mystifying, is not too complicated, and even if it is, you'll still be too entranced with the hypnotic direction Jane Schoenbrunn took to stop watching. And the themes of nostalgia and how life seems to move too fast as we get older are also tackled in such an impressive way. How we sadly might not have as much time to do the stuff we used to like, because of how we become focused on other things, or simply just lost interest in them. As well as the feeling that some may have that there is something missing within themselves, and they know they are meant to be different despite how they may appear, or what they are assigned as. But them constantly being told they cannot change might make them shove it all down, but the longing will still be there, and they will still soon become tired of having to hide that part of themselves, because the feeling that things should be different will only keep coming back, because part of you knows that there's something different about yourself, given not only the indifference you have towards the way you are, but also the feeling that you were never meant to be this way, which is captured in Owen's character as he discovers that there is something about himself he knows is there, but is too intimidated to confront it, which is something I can more than relate to since around, I think, 14 years old, I started to get the feeling that something was off about me. How I realized how indifferent I was towards being male, and sometimes felt like I was never meant to be one, which is where the feeling that something was lost in me came from. I didn't know how, but I just knew that there was a part of myself I didn't understand. Part of me would wonder if I should have been born a woman. Maybe I would be happier as such due to how much of a disdain I had for being male at that point. And I started to wonder what it was like to be one, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of longing. Part of myself feel like maybe I shouldn't have been born this way. But obviously that seemed too taboo at the time. I would try to forget about that, but the feeling that there might be something about me and that I should have been born different will only grow stronger, and eventually I started to wish I had been born a woman, which is when I realized it was probably part of why I always felt like there was part of myself missing. I then realized I was always kind of put off by the idea I was born male, and in fact, now I disdained it at that point, which before I just felt indifferent about being one. I never truly felt like I was meant to be one, but yeah, I would shove that part of myself down, especially since I was under the impression that gender is fixed and strictly about biology. But the feelings would come back due to how I never really felt like a male, or that I should have been born one, and now long to become the woman I truly was meant to be. That is when I would sometimes wear makeup or cross-dress to try and capture who I truly was meant to be, and long to be. And I can't help can't describe how it felt to do that the first time, other than it just felt right. Like, this is how things should have been, and that I should have been born feminine. And it was when I would truly feel authentic. Like, there was a great part of myself that says, this is right, this is how it should be. I actually felt myself, but there was just a part of myself that thought I was wrong for doing this, so I tried to forget that longing. It's hard for me to talk about. I don't think I remember everything because it was just a rough place I was going through in my life. But anyway, I eventually became tired of covering up who I truly am. I do not like what I was assigned at birth. I never did, because I never felt like I should have been born in that way, and I have felt trapped for the longest time because of it. Not only since I have been told that it is all fixed, as I said, and a part of me would tell myself that I couldn't do anything to change it, which only made the frustration toward who I was and the longing to be another way stronger, but also because it only made me wish I had been born the way I was truly meant to be even more. I can't remember everything, but I always remember thinking that there might be something about me, how I never felt right as a male and soon realized I should have been born another way, but always being under the impression that it was all impossible, and eventually being tired of being something I never truly felt like or never truly was. I give directing an A+. Such an immersive film that they have due to the otherworldly feel to it all, and as well as how personal the story got for me. Overall, I saw The TV Glow as a wonderful movie viewing experience that has such a beautifully surreal tone to it all. It will definitely be one of the most unique films of 2024, and I highly recommend it if you dig movies that have a dreamlike vibe to them, or if you grew up on children's horror, or if you just like an approach to filmmaking that is different from the approach others might take. It will be especially good for anyone who is trans, since there is a lot of themes in the movie that pertain to that, especially since the director said that it is meant to deal with the struggles women might face in discovering themselves. But if you are not, you will still appreciate the surreal and otherworldly feel of this movie. I saw The TV Glow an A+. There was just something special about it for me personally. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and sub for more content.
Snick is over. But Snick will be back in just 166 hours.
Fuck, I can't fucking wait that long.